program just a little bit right here, because we have, I didn't know that Ann Carpenter was going to be here today, Phyllis's daughter, and so we're going to take a few minutes now to hear from Ann.
Thank you. First, I want to thank Senator Adams for his remarks, because I come from the state of Missouri, and I can tell you how awful initiative petition is. Because of initiative petition, a conservative red state like Missouri, we have no holds bar marijuana. We have no holds bar gambling. We have no holds bar abortion, with no liability limits on anything. And that they were all done by outside sources. They were not, the votes were rammed through by the metropolitan areas of Kansas City and St. Louis. They were not voted by the majority of the state. In other words, the rest of the population of Missouri did not want any of these things, but the vote totals in the urban areas is what ratified all of these terrible laws. Just Oregon, and it isn't just Utah. And I think that is all the more reason why every time you hear the mainstream media talk about protecting our democracy, you should stop them and say, we do not have a democracy. Democracy is a bad form of government. And as Senator Adams said, democracies are fatal. I get to represent the National Organization of Eagle Forum. If you're not a member, I invite you to be a member. We have an office in Washington, D.C. that keeps mind on the mischief of what is going on there. And we also, I have published a few things. And I noticed, and I love how Senator Adams actually read from the pocket constitution that's on your table. It's great that you know what's in the Constitution, but the print is too fine in those little books. It's too hard to read. And so I am very proud of this book. I wrote, "Is Our Constitution in Jeopardy?" because I wanted to make the Constitution in an easily digestible form that everyone can understand at every level. So it is an answer and question game. The answer is on the odd number page, and then you guess what the question is on the next page. And it goes through the entire history, what's actually in the Constitution, the ratification, and then all the things that happened, all the amendments that happened everywhere. So this is my way to have constitutional literacy in the United States, which is what we need. I gave a book to the table of kids in the back area, and I saw that they were studying it throughout the whole day, so I'm going to quiz them later on whether they've actually mastered Is Our Constitution in Jeopardy? But that's one thing that we do, because the purpose of Eagle Forum is the three-legged stool of conservatism. There are a lot of organizations that only deal with one issue, and that's great. There are important issues out there, but they're all interconnected, and it is our job to bring them together so that you see the interconnection of all of these issues. So it's strong national defense, it is a free economy with limited government, and the social issues. You can never discount how important the social issues are, and how the importance of strong families and real education into making a country that we all want to live in and that we all can prosper into. And so with the passing of Jimmy Carter last week, I noticed at his funeral that there were several speakers that lauded him for two of his crucial mistakes as president that they thought were great. One, our President Trump has already glommed onto, which is the Panama Canal Treaty giveaway, which actually led to the defeat of several senators who voted for it. But when I was growing up, I always said that there was only one issue that my family ever talked about at the dinner table, and that was the giveaway of the Panama Canal. But the second one that he was lauded for was that Jimmy Carter actually did an illegal, out of the, a bad constitutional act. And he, at that time, there was the proposed Equal Rights Amendment to the Constitution. And it was failing, and it had a time limit. That when Congress sent this amendment out to the states, they sent it with a 7-year time limit. And that's like a contract. 24 states ratified the ERA with the provision that it was a 7-year time limit. Well, Jimmy Carter, actually it was Rosalind Carter, had the bright idea to say, well, let's make an extension and see if we can give it a couple of more years and it will ratify. So if you read the Constitution, constitutional amendments require a passage of 2/3 of the House and Senate and then 3/4 of the states to ratify and become an amendment. Well, he passed this extension with only a simple majority of the Congress, and then he, as president, signed it. Well, in Article 5 of the Constitution, the president has no role in constitutional amendments, and that caused my mother to have a big demonstration on Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House saying the president should obey the Constitution and not try to interfere with the constitutional amendment process. And for that act, there was a eulogist at Jimmy Carter's funeral who said, wasn't that a great job? So we must all know our Constitution, because you never know what comes back. So my other book that I put out is Lessons in Leadership, which is how my mother stayed strong, developed leaders, and had a 70-year life in politics. And then just to give my last shameless plug is, this is great fun. I was telling the people at my table, best thing you can do is make fun of the left. They need humor. We all need humor. We need to use their words against them because, I feel as though I've been living under a spell for the last 4 years. We don't know who's running the presidency. We haven't seen the man behind the curtain. We've been told that boys are girls and that girls are boys, and we've been told that we have to wear masks and we can't send our kids to school, and we can't socialize with our neighbor because there might be some terrible bug out there. We need to stand up and proclaim our liberties and our freedoms. And one of the biggest projects that Eagle Forum is working on this year in this brave new world where we can have energy independence and all kinds of great things is that we need to get the World Health Organization out of our business. Thank you all very much.